Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about social network analysis, right? All of us are on various kinds of social networks, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on, right? What kind of data science problems are important for such social media websites, right? And when I talk about social network analytics, it's not just that Twitter consider this as useful. It's Twitter that considers this as useful. It's LinkedIn, it's Facebook, it's all kind of network websites. In fact, some of those enterprise networks can also find these kind of analytic studies useful. Okay, so let's look at a few data science examples that are a part which are studied under social network analytics. Right. Let's say I want to do something called as social ads. We talked about general ads on the web. So these ads, people try to personalize them, but they can be personalized only to a certain level. Because in general on the web, Times of India does not know much about you. They only know somewhat about you, right? But when it comes to Facebook, these ads can be significantly personalized. Say for example, a football manufacturer company wants to sell those things, that equipment, or let's say some sports football equipment manufacturing company wants to sell their equipment on Facebook, right? In that case, they really want to figure out only those set of users which are interested in football. How do I figure that out? Now, some of the people on Facebook would have messaged to each other or put out open public messages about football, and that's great, about soccer, about football. Then clearly I have an indication that this guy is really interested into football, right? But some of those guys are very silent. They just don't talk at all, okay? And you don't want to lose the opportunity. One way of figuring out if this guy is interested in football or not is to really look at his friends. If his friends really talk, and many of these friends talk a lot about football, a very good chance that you can assign a label of football to this guy, right? In the same way, you can actually assign labels like cricket or chess to other folks in the entire network, and therefore personalize the ads that you show to these folks. Right. Ad personalization is just one way where classifying these nodes in the network is useful. Classifying nodes on a network can be useful for other reasons as well. Okay. But that's one of those use cases. Now, social network companies have to deal with this thing called as link prediction. Okay. So most people know this thing as friend suggestion. So when Facebook is trying to suggest a friend to you, all they are trying to do is, here is the current snapshot of the network. How can I figure out a particular link? How can I say that, hey, it is this pair of users u comma v which should really be friends with each other, right? So there must be some algorithms which try to figure out what is the probability that if I suggest this guy as a friend to that guy is going to accept the recommendation, right? One of the simplest things that comes to mind is how many common friends we have. How many common friends exist between you and we, right? But that's just one of those techniques. There are many other techniques which can help us do link prediction better on such networks, right? Then there are things like called as community detection. So community detection is very close to what we talked about in classification. It's just that in classification you have some labeled data. So here you would know certain nodes which are really interested in football, and then you're trying to explore more nodes which might be interested in football. In community detection is about really taking the network and trying to sort of split it into partitions, such that this partition believes in or is interested in a particular sport, this partition is interested in another sport, and so on. Okay? It's not just about sports, it's also about, say, political campaigns. How to figure out that part of Hyderabad which is interested in BJP versus interested in Congress versus interested in MIM, and so on. Okay? That's a part of community detection. So figuring out clusters or groups of people or groups of nodes in these networks which are interested in a particular community, right? Lastly, influence propagation is really important when it comes to social networks. An influential person on a social network like Twitter is that guy, if he posts a tweet, many people read that tweet, and many people retweet it further. In fact, the influence set of a particular person or a particular node in this graph is defined as a set of people who have gotten this information thanks to this tweet. Okay. So it is obvious to understand that celebrities are influential people. Whenever Amitabh Bachchan tweets something, since he has significant number of followers, a whole bunch of people are going to get that information. But not just followers. What matters is second level followers, third level followers, and so on. Given a network, how can I figure out if Amitabh Bachchan will be really influential when it comes to promoting a course on AI/ML? Will that work? Probably not. Probably for propagating a course on AI/ML, I would want to figure out a person, a celebrity in that field. Right? So depending on what is your product that you want to sell, you might want to figure out leaders in those areas, where a leader is not just defined based on public perception, but a leader is defined computationally on the influence set given the network. So a particular person may be a leader but may not be on Twitter at all. But some other people may be leaders, maybe small time leaders, but well, they are very, very influential when it comes to social media analysis. Right? And when you want to spend those marketing dollars, you really want to spend them in an optimized way, such that how much this leader charges for putting out that tweet versus how much is the influence set of this leader. Right? So there are many folks who actually charge when it comes to tweeting for you. So if you want to get your brand promoted, you pay them based on the influence set, on the set of people whom you can influence by putting up tweets or by putting up status updates and so on. Okay. So in short, we looked at a variety of case studies, a variety of use cases on social network analytics. Right? There are more, and these are not just applicable on social networks as we know of them, but also on various kinds of networks which are hidden, which we experience every day, but it's just that explicitly we don't really see those networks in action. But these things make a lot of sense on those networks as well.